This is where you would register your team. You just go to the third button down. It says team registration from the home page. And then here, down here, it says select tournament. So we'll select the tournament. Okay, so what I did was I selected, say, the March tournament, and the team name is Pro-Am 50 Free Agents. Put the coach's name and email. If you don't have an email or whatever, put your email in, but you can make up an email. I put var@123.com. That's the way you make up an artificial email. I put a password in. Just remember your email and password. And the level D of play for the tournament. I put Eddie Seymour for the park that my team plays at. What level play? I put D. And then I put a phone number and the address. Now, click register. This is where you click register, and as a team, you can either, as a coach, you could click pay or mail a check to Pro-Am Softball at P.O. Box 48636, St. Petersburg, Florida. That's below the PayPal button. If you want to pay by your PayPal account, or you want to pay by your credit card, you would just go into either log into your PayPal account or click the pay with debit or credit card. Once you fill that in, you just pay for the tournament registration. You'd be all set. Okay, I put in my username and password, highlight coach, click login, and we'll save that for now. Here you have 20 artificial players. And what you could do, the first thing you want to do is look for the player that you're going to add to your player roster. So you go to the all players list. Okay, I'm putting in the name Dave. I hit search. Gives me all the Daves. And if you see like Dave Winters, if that's the player you're looking for, you just click add player. And it'll ask you, are you sure you want to add this player, and say yes. So it'll go back to your player management, and it'll add Dave Winters. Okay, now that you got a number 10 jersey, I would recommend deleting the number 10 here so that you don't have the same jersey. So I deleted number 10 artificial player, because you don't want the same jersey numbers. Here it tells you what to do. Check all players list for your player. If your player is not in all players, edit an artificial player with your player's information, and if you have no more artificial players, click register player, which is down here. So I'll show you how to click and edit the information. Here you would go and put the first and last name. Okay, here I put in Joe Smith. I left the email. If you have their email, you can put their email in, but I left player1@proam50freeagents.com. Password 12345. Now you want to send your players their email and password so they can log in as a player. So there you have the player, and then the jersey number. You want to make sure all your players have different jersey numbers. So you could just leave all those jerseys the same, 1 through 20. We won't worry about the jersey number because we use an application and it doesn't recognize the second jersey number that has the same number. I put Florida for the drop down here, Tampa, and then I just put in a fictitious phone number. Here the unique number is to that player, so he can have that number and tell you that that's his number. When you look him up, then you can add him from the all player list. Here is the division of play that he plays at. You can put bats, throws right. I put pitcher for now. You can put catcher, shortstop, and then you could type in a comment all around player. So all you do there is just submit this, and this guy, you've now edited an artificial player to be your player. And again, if you put in their email at any time, the website automates an email to the player so they can access their player information. So now let's say your player isn't on the all player list and you run out of artificial players. So now you want to add a player, and he's not in the all player list and you don't have artificial players. You would click the register player. When you click register, you do the same thing. Just fill in his information, click register, and you'd be all set. Back to player management. You can download your roster It'll download onto your computer. You can show in folder. We'll open it up, and you just say yes to this, and it opens up your players' names, and that's your roster. Here you can go to team stats. You can look at your this is all your stats from all your tournaments together. You can go to January. You can look at January's tournament stats. You could go to February. You can look at February tournament stats, and those are the players that played there. Let's see, manage players. You can go to the available player list to see if you need to call a player by his number or email him. Let's say you want to access tournament stats. So you would go to January tournament, look at the team scores. You could look at lineups, show you the lineups for each team. You could back up, go to inning scores. It shows you who scored the first inning, who scored the second inning, who scored the third, fifth, sixth, so on for each team. Those are the stats there. And then you go to win-loss. You could look at the win-loss here. We have the schedule right there under tournament stats. It shows the schedule, what field. The points table is showing points you win, and then of course our bracket winners, which in this case was the Weekend Warriors for January tournament, C Division champions, and Globe Trailers was B Division champions. And we can go back to home. Player registration is you only click player registration when you're not on a team. If you're on a team, contact your coach for your email and password to log in as a player. So once you get your email and password to log in as a player, you would go here. Here's a player login. So you highlight player, Steve Angel, view tournament stats, and this is your tournament batting averages, and right there you can export it to Excel down to your computer. Just click download, you can open it, show in folder, double click it, opens, click yes, and it'll show you your stats there. Put it in any folder you want. He's under the free agent list, so if you look at free agent here, he's checked the check mark. If you don't want to be on the available player list, then you take the check mark out. So let's log out, and we'll look at the available player list. Steve Angel should be on there. Available players. All right, Steve. There it is, Steven Angel, Tampa. This is his email. So you can email him, copy and paste his email, or just type it in and ask him if he'd like to play on your team.